Hello, welcome to the September energy reading. My name is Melanie Santos. I am a multidisciplinary sacred artist who uses many mediums to communicate about the mind, body, spirit, and energetic connection. I'm super happy to be delivering this reading today. I was taking stock of when I started to do this on YouTube, and I think it's been a few readings now. We've been doing this since February, and so thank you for continuing to watch me here and continuing to share it. I just finished a reading with somebody, an alignment session, a one-on-one alignment session with somebody, and they said the reading for August was so good, and I shared it with somebody I love, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And so keep sharing, keep liking the video. I encourage you to like the video and drop a comment, even if it's just like, I really love this, or I have a question. It helps the content get to the people who it needs to get to, and helps me as a channel. I also recognize that there are a lot of you who are returning every single month, but who are not subscribed to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to 20,000 subscribers, which makes a huge difference for me as a creator. And so thank you. And I encourage you to keep subscribing, keep liking, especially if these videos and this information makes a difference for you. Let's jump into the energy of September. Let's get into the energy of September first, and then we'll get into the oracle card reading. September is very special. It feels brand new, right? Or at least it does for me. People are going back to school and work, and it feels like new patterns are starting, or at least we have the opportunity to build new patterns and new behaviors. That in part is supported by Virgo season. We are in the middle of Virgo season. As I'm recording this right now, we are experiencing a new moon in Virgo, and it's just all this beautiful, meticulous energy. It's like we are really encouraged to pay attention to the details. When I say pay attention to the details, I also mean paying attention to the details that are loud in our life that we don't necessarily, that aren't pleasant, right? That are uncomfortable. There is, and I feel like I've said this in every single reading for the past couple of months, but there's so much information in discomfort. There's so much information in disconnection. And so don't look past that, look at it. Let me light my incense as I talk about the energy of Virgo season, because then at the end of September, we're going to be shifting into Libra season. And Libra season is a true opportunity to rebalance. Virgo season brings in this energy of, again, meticulousness, detail, and then we get to build on that, really lay the foundation for the last quarter of the year. And then we get Libra season, where we truly get to nuzzle in. Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, which is the planet of luxury and love and relationships and connection and money. And so we truly get to rebalance in the areas where we have rejudged and reorganized and restructured. As we experience the energy of September, this shift from Virgo into Libra, we're also shifting from very analytical nature into a more emotional nature. That is supported by a couple of planetary shifts. I don't usually get really granular, but I feel like this needs to be mentioned, that we're shifting from Mars in Gemini, which Gemini is air energy, the mind, wit, communication, and Mars is a planet of action and war and initiation. So we've been getting a lot of that. And so if it's been really hard for you to sleep lately, it's probably because of Mars in Gemini. If you've been having a lot of dreams, if you've been having a lot of nonstop thoughts, it's probably been because of that. And I hope that you've been paying attention to the information that has been cropping up because of this Mars in Gemini energy. But now Mars is going to be in Cancer. Cancer is this water sign of emotion, of nurturing, of mothering, of intuition. And so we're guided to shift again from this very analytical nature into this more nurturing nature, this rebalancing, this mothering. But how do those mix, right? Because we have this Mars initiation in this Cancer water emotions, but we may be feeling very emotionally fiery. We may be feeling very protective of ourselves, of our loved ones, of our spaces. But that's also an opportunity to pay attention to the information there. Why? Why are we reacting in that way? Why do we feel the need to react in this way? Why do we feel the need to take action on these things, on these ideas in this way, on these relationships in this way? And I just checked, that's happening on September 4th, Mars entering Cancer. On September 8th, we have Mercury, the planet of communication that actually rules Virgo, stationing in Virgo. And Mercury's been direct, it's not in retrograde, but it's stationing in Virgo. So we get like analytical, detail, mind energy in one of the signs that is ruled during this Virgo season. And so when I tell you this is a time for details, this is a time to where we're supported in taking a fine-tooth comb and doing the things that we've been kind of pushing down and behind the back burner. This is a time to pay attention to what is very loud, paying attention to what is in disharmony, because then we'll get the opportunity to, again, with a fine-tooth comb, pay attention to the details and scrub out and really parse out. I'm looking at all my plants in the room, which y'all can't see, but I've been doing that a lot with my home because that pertains to my particular chart. Paying attention to the details in my home and doing that with my plants, like literally pruning my plants. That's what we get the opportunity to do in our lives, paying attention to the leaves and the plants of our lives, right? If your leaves are browning, how much longer are you going to ignore them before you take the time to sit and change the soil and irrigate and water the leaves and apply some neem oil? Can you tell? I'm like in plant mode, but like really, this is what this means for us too. We can no longer afford to ignore what is allowed in our life, what is out of disharmony, and we're in alignment in terms of paying attention to them now because we're supported by Virgo energy and Mercury in Virgo, which is a perfect concoction. And then we're going to shift into Libra season at the end of September, where we'll get to reharmonize because we've taken care of the foundations. We can't just jump with all the mess that we have into Libra season and expect the planetary energies to fix it, because it'll be like almost like having a wide open wound, not dressing it and doing whatever, and then just applying makeup on it in Libra season. Like, you know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. Paying attention to our wounds is going to be important because they're at the root of our reactions. We only react and communicate and act and behave in certain ways because of what is happening within us, in our wounds, subconsciously. So paying attention to all of this is going to be very, 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 very important. Now, I'm going to start pulling cards for September to see what we can do very specifically. Pull these cards and see what the energy is like for us as a community, as a people, as a collective, what we need to know about September. I'm going to start with the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. As always, everything that I mention here that I'm going to share as a resource, including these cards, is going to be in the description box. And so let's pull our first card, first message for September 2024. Okay, as I was shuffling the cards, my guides were like, hey, we have a message. And I'm like, okay. So before I pull this card, I do want to share the message. They were like, September's also about recognizing the shift. And I'm like, huh? They're like, and they showed me a vision of like somebody just like moving all around, but not recognizing that they're already on a moving platform. And so recognizing that things are being worked out for you, that you kind of don't have to do more. You just have to do what you're doing with more intention. Does that make sense? And so recognize, look at where you are standing in your life right now. What is already moving? It's not that you need to do more. It's that you need to work with very detailed intention. Because when these platforms that you're standing on, that you're running around on, you stop running, pay attention to where you are, you can make sense of where you are going because you stop moving. And that's very much being mirrored in terms of, that's mirroring our spiritual practices too. We're moving around a lot. We're coming back from summer. We get to chill. We get to calm down. We get to restructure for the season. September's also bringing in the autumn equinox. September's also starting eclipse season. So it's again a time of massive change. things are going to be changing for us. If we do not stabilize and build the foundations that we need now, we're going to feel frazzled in Libra season. We're going to feel frazzled in the eclipse season. And if you want more information about eclipses and the sun and the moon and those energies and what they do for us, I have a whole separate video, a free masterclass that I'm going to link in the description box and up here, that I filmed all about the sun, the moon, its rituals, rituals that we can do, and its energy and how it can be beneficial to us if we work with them. So I just wanted to share that information that poured in even before I chose the card. I'm going to choose the card now, first card for September. All right, card flipped over in my hands, and it is the goddess Freya. Be bold. Boldness. And just pay attention to the imagery of the card, the animal in the card, the goddess, how she is dressed, the colors, and see what they signify for you. Unleash your adventurous side. Take risks and be daring. Take risks and be daring. Which honestly, there are no sirens, but the cars are going crazy outside. Whenever we hear a lot of car noises outside, it's always like, are you listening? This isn't giving me Virgo energy at all. She's giving me a lot of Libra energy, but this adventure energy isn't giving me Virgo energy, which is odd. What I think this is saying is not necessarily be bold, go out. It's that a lot of you are not doing anything. That's what this is giving me, is that there are a lot of you who are watching this, who watch these readings and watch other readings and like just intake a lot of information so that it makes you feel better about making moves, but the moves still aren't being made. And so your boldness is literally in making a decision. Move forward and make a decision and do the things. Please do the things. That's your boldness right now. You will go through a truly bold season later on if you want to, because everything is a choice. We always have choices. Everything is an opportunity to step forward in a different way. But this is what the boldness is coming through as. It's like, unleash your adventurous side, take risks, and be daring. I almost want to read and see if anything else comes out from the booklet. But this is honestly pointing me towards those of you who are just not making decisions, who are asking, but aren't doing anything. Yeah, message from Freya, don't play it safe right now. Instead, take bold action in the direction of your true heart's desire. Success comes not from timidity, but from committing yourself fully to realizing your dreams. And so, yeah, I want to reiterate that this is Virgo season. This is a time to go forward in the direction of what you are dreaming of. And there are some of you who are like dreaming really far out. Like, I dream of having X, Y, and Z and this big thing and this big life and whatever. But the things that need to be taken care of now aren't. And so if you're dreaming of owning this big company and having this big house or becoming an entrepreneur, but your taxes aren't done or like your house isn't clean and your files aren't organized, that's what you need to take care of. That's your bold action. You're being bold enough to tell yourself to cut the shit and sit down and do the things that you've been afraid to tackle. And also, in doing the things, pay attention to the parts of you that haven't wanted to do these things, and why. Why have you been, and I keep saying you're afraid because it's really, everything stems from fear and love. To love yourself deeply would have been to take care of the things that needed to have been taken care of for a long time. But there was a fear, and so pay attention to the information that you get from actually making the decisions that you haven't been able to make. That's your bold decisions right now. And so if you're getting reminders to be bold, it's like, be bold enough to listen. Be bold enough to listen to the reminders, to see the burning dumpster fire parts of our life, because we all have burning dumpster fire parts of our life, even me. Except I am conscious of them and I'm actively taking care of them. You have to truly make a decision to be conscious of your burning dumpster fires and take care of them and receive the information of like, why did that even light on fire to begin with? What are my blind spots? What are my mental blind spots? What are my physical blind spots? What are my spiritual blind spots, my energetic blind spots? And how can I mend these disconnections so that these dumpster fires don't happen anymore? So that I'm taking care of the things within the time frame that they need to be taken care of in. Okay? So that's our Be Bold reminder for September. All right, let's move forward into the Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. As always, these are linked in the description box below. And I just dropped all the cards, but let's see what our second card is. Second message is for September 2024. Okay. Ooh, one of my favorite cards just jumped out of the deck. And it also came up upside down, which for me always means emphasis. Like, just pay attention to the message of this card because it's Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. Sisterhood of the Rose. Sisterhood of the Rose. This is giving me tons of Libra energy, tons of Libra energy. Also, look at the sides of the cards. There's just all these beautiful priestesses, ascended master figures that are beside this woman as she's tuning in and tapping into the priestess within. This is the Libra energy that we're building towards, but this can't happen if we don't do this. Like, this fierceness and this taking action on our goals and shifting our routines to do the things that we need to do is going to lead to this. And so I have mostly women that watch these readings, but if you're a man or any other gender identity, this is still the feminine energy that I need you to tap into for September, okay? The archetype of the divine feminine isn't only this spiritual goddess energy. It's also this. It's also Kalima, right? It's also like Phoenix energy. It's also like doing whatever you need to do to have that flow and that ease and that creativity. It's creating from all the elements, not just water and, and air. No, it's also fire and earth energy, right? It's moving mountains. And so feminine energy is really, really coming up. But also balancing. I think this came up in the last reading too, but like balancing that with the masculine energy, because this Be Bold energy is very masculine. Virgo energy is very masculine. And then we get Libra energy, which is very feminine. But they're also two sides of the same coin, because Virgo season is, the archetype is the virgin, right? It's the agricultural goddess. She's also a woman. That's also feminine energy. And then we get Venus, goddess of love and pleasure. And again, parts work. Let me know in the comments if you were intrigued by last reading's mention of parts work, and if you did a little bit more research on it. You hear that car? It's telling us, pay attention. Parts work is very, very important. I've probably mentioned that in every single one-on-one reading that I've done in August. Up until today, I also mentioned it in a reading that I did today. How paying attention to our parts is so important, and making sure that we are leading from the, I was going to say correct part. It's not that we can lead from an incorrect part. Is that to make sure that we're leading from the most fruitful part, from the most aligned part. Because even if we were leading with ego, and I'm mentioning all this, giving you the meditation that I promised you I was going to offer you, the meditation on seeing whether it is your ego or your spirit that is driving your life, is live on my channel. Please take advantage of it. It is so good. Really is so helpful, and a practice that I do for myself often too. Whether we're leading from ego or spirit, there's always going to be information there. It's just that one journey is going to be a lot more fruitful and a lot more in alignment with our ease and with our in alignment period than the other. But even if we were driving with our spirit, even if we were driving with masculine, we're always going to be receiving information. We just have to be conscious enough to see it. And so September is an opportunity to continue on this journey of paying attention to what parts of you are driving your life, and being able to honor that you can be both sides of this divine feminine coin. Right? The strong divine feminine who does what she needs to do, who handles the details, and then who leads herself into Libra season to weigh out the scales and rebalance, to sit down and say, okay, I've done everything that I could do. Now I kind of just have to rebalance and make it more comfortable, make my life more pleasurable. Pay attention to the parts of my life that are not pleasurable, and why. They're very loud. I want to choose, as in being tuned with my divine feminine, I'm making the active decision to no longer ignore what is out of harmony, okay? So these two messages are coming through hand in hand as archetypes of the divine feminine that we need to be embodying right now. We need to be embodying these archetypes of the divine feminine, waking up these internal flames within us, letting them travel through us. This is also really important, again, as we talk about this Mars and Cancer energy. Cancer's the mother, the nurturer, the, intuitive. And Mars is this very aggression, action, force, initiation. And so it's two sides of a coin. How can you be both to the best of your ability? What does that mean for you? These are questions that I want you to answer for yourself. What does this mean for me? If I'm just coming out of this period of the summer where I was taking action in a certain way, and I'm shifting the way that I take action now as we step into fall, eclipse season, the autumn equinox, what does it mean for me to take action and balance that with nurturing? What does it mean for me to pay attention to the burning reactions that I get in terms of my safety, in terms of my nurturing, in terms of my home, my family, the way that I mother others or mother myself? Because we all need to be mothering ourselves. All need to be mothering ourselves. And some of you also need to pay attention to action and taking action in your relationship with your mother or with motherhood, like literally in a literal sense. And so that's coming up for you. Pay attention to that as well. But lots of great reminders already for September. This might be a fast reading. Let's get into the third card. I usually yap for hours. But let's get into the third reading coming from the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, and see what our third message is for September 2024. Okay. We had a lot of cards. Flip over, jump out of the deck, all the things. So I'm going to first show you the cards that flip over, and then I'm going to... 4 cards, okay? And then I'm going to show you the cards that sort of fell out. These jumped out upside down. And so, again, emphasis, but also this is also one of my favorite decks. I always talk about this in every reading, how this is one of the best beginner decks that you can get because it gives an explanation for whether you pull the card out upright or upside down. First one was the Archangel Chamuel, third chakra. Third chakra, which is our solar plexus. Our solar plexus governs our will, our self-confidence, our self-esteem, which also has a lot to do with our inner child. So the fact that we're talking a lot about mothering, very cool that this came out. Then it was Goddess of the Moon. Goddess of the Moon, which is awesome and very aligned because, again, we just finished talking about this Mars in Cancer energy. In Cancer is ruled by the moon. We're also talking a lot about balancing the feminine aspects of us, feminine energy within us. And women are very intrinsically connected to the moon. It's literally why we call our menstrual cycles our moon cycle, because it's connected and flows in alignment with the moon. My camera's doing some weird stuff today. Those are the first 2 cards that jumped out. Let's look at the cards that fell out of the deck. First one is Door to Value. Door to Value. Door to Value. It's literally a door with money. And then Broken Heart. All these cards. Broken Heart. Okay. Let me take a second to look at these cards and make sense of the information that's coming from them. We've got these 4 cards here, but it's really one message. And so I'm going to try to tell a story with the cards. We're being asked to take bold action, correct? We're being asked to take bold action and do the things that we need to do. Just do the damn things. Do the things. Listen to the information. Receive and go through these doors so that we can end up here, right? And this is also talking about just building new community and having very strong foundations when it comes to being in harmony and balance within your own feminine energies. And so this is the beginning, this is the end, this is the middle. Okay, this is the middle. We have an opportunity to be here. This is a door with a golden coin. We have an opportunity to really start new. Whether it be, for some of you, it's going to mean new career and financial opportunities. But for most of us, it's just going to be new opportunities. New opportunities. Opportunities to start fresh. Opportunities to really align with a version of ourselves that we've been looking forward to aligning with. But we have to act as this person, right? We have to act as this person. And that's why we need to commit to taking bold action. Because then we'll get all of this energy, right? This is the spiritual alignment and this is the human, right? All of this abundant energy. That can only happen if we take care of ourselves humanly, right? And also balance our masculine spiritually, and also balance our feminine, and go through the doors. Pay attention to our wounds. It's not that our heart is going to break. We need to pay attention to the breakages in our heart and the breakages in our energetic centers, breakages in our solar plexus. Our solar plexus, as I talk about the chakras, is very important because this is the energy center that governs our self-esteem, our self-confidence, our will. When this is not doing its best, we have more of a challenge. It's more of a challenge for us to step up and take bold action. It's more of a challenge for us to reach this. And there are so many of you who are setting intentions, who are asking and praying for the things, but like your solar plexus is shot. Super shot. And there are ways for you to check on this. I will always recommend the one-on-one session with me because we look through individually each and every chakra. The readings are about 75 minutes long, and they're amazing. I really do these readings, as you can hopefully can tell, with a lot of integrity and a lot of love, and I have a lot of education, a lot of wisdom to impart on each and every client, whether it's a group reading or a one-on-one reading. But this is one of the energy centers that I always spend a lot of time on because this has so much information about where we are in our life. Like where we are in our life is really contingent on the strength, the brightness, the sustainability of our third chakra. Okay? And the fact that this archangel is coming up, this archangel, Chamuel, who kind of like helps us take care of and helps us guard and heal our third chakra, our solar plexus. You can call on this archangel. Pay attention to his name. Maybe do some archangel prayers or do some research on it. If you're feeling weak in this sector, maybe you don't feel as confident. Maybe you're feeling like, why can I just take the steps? Sometimes it has to do with the solar plexus. And in my experience, a lot of the time when there's a strain in the solar plexus, it is because there are past wounds that are severing. How do I explain? There are past wounds that are over influencing your actions and your decisions, that are over influencing your thoughts. Right? When I go into a solar plexus that is wounded, deeply wounded, off, overactive, underactive, whatever, is usually because of the inner child that resides here. This is usually where I read the inner child. And when I see how old your inner child is and what do they need and how are they being served and not served and what are they asking for, how are they nourished or undernourished, they usually take a hold of the human being. And I think we spoke about this in the August reading too. When you have this part of you who is driving your life, and sometimes it's your inner child, because they feel unsafe, and so you live your life in fear and feeling unsafe. And because of that, you either make decisions or don't make decisions based on this inner child safety or unsafety. Hope that's making sense. But it's very, very important that we take notice of how we are feeling and how our energy centers are working or not working. How are we feeding them and nourishing them? How are we feeding and nourishing them? Okay? And I hate to focus on one energy center because I honestly hate when people are like, let's balance one chakra. You cannot balance one chakra. You have to balance all of them. You have to balance all of them. They're all interconnected. And your chakras are connected to your organs, your physical body. And so if you're not supporting your physical body, you're not supporting your chakras. I don't care who you are, what you know. If your body is unhealthy, your chakras, your energetic health is going to be poor. And so making sure that you take care of that is something very foundational, but also paying attention to this. This is also like very masculine energy, but has very, very spiritual roots. Very, very spiritual roots, because right below the solar plexus is the sacral chakra, which is our womb energy, which is connected to the moon. And so let's talk about goddess of the moon. This is bringing up so many reminders. One, the moon happens in phases, and so do we. So do we. Stop beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up about being in a certain place in your life, whether it's the first time or the 15th time. You're here because you need to shift it. And so pay attention. Take bold action by listening deeply. Be bold in your attention and your attention to detail. Be bold in your intention. Okay? Know that just as the moon happens in phases, so do you. And that you have a very strong goddess of the moon within you as well. Again, doesn't matter the gender or gender expression. All of us have a very strong goddess of the moon that helps us honor our phases. And also, this is also a reminder to work with the phases of the moon. I have a video on this again. I have a very good blog post about this on my website as well that I'll link in the description box, where I talk about the energy of the moon and working with different phases and how our menstrual cycles align with the different seasons of the moon and what that means for us. But this is a reminder to, like, you don't have to do this alone. You're doing this with all the energy of the cosmos. You're doing this with spirit. You're doing this with your spirit guides. You're doing this with your community. And so gather together a couple of your friends. Say, hey, let's do a full moon ritual. I think the full moon's on September 18th. We're in a new moon right now. So as you're watching this, if you're watching this within the first couple of days that this has been posted, please go do a new moon ritual. I have 2 amazing videos, one on all the cosmic energy and one specifically on new moon energy. But I would suggest watching the newest one that I just posted, because it's updated, an updated version of the new moon ritual video that I did like 7 years ago. And use the energy, the cosmic energy, to set intentions, to release, work with the cosmos, and honor that moon phase transitional flow within you. Honor the fact that you are both feminine and masculine. You are both feminine and masculine. And sometimes it's just 2 sides of the same coin that need to be expressed at a particular moment. Okay? And then make sure to just go through the things. Go through the things. Go through the grief. There's information in your grief too. There's information in your anger. There's information in your broken heart. You're not going to be brokenhearted or grieving or angry forever. There's information there. Take what you need and go. And not go in the sense of like continue to ignore it or push it past you. Take the information and alchemize it. I spoke a lot about this in last month's reading as well, reminding you that you are a magician. Alchemize it. Then we go back to square one, taking bold action. So this is a full story, okay? Full story. When we get here, we get to continue to make bold action. Bold action. We get to pay attention to what is happening within. How are we working with our forces? Are our forces even feeling bright enough for us to move? If not, what kind of recalibration do we need in Virgo and Libra season? What kind of recalibration do we need this month? Ooh, receiving so much push on the fact that so many of you need recalibration. So many of you need to do a spiritual bath, some Reiki, some steaming, something. Something different. Something different that's going to work on the details of your subtle energy. Something that's going to allow you to lay down and allow yourself to be cosmically worked on. Sometimes it can just be you sitting in complete stillness and silence, feeling the waves of energy around you and asking your spiritual team, hey, I know I can't see you and I can't feel you or hear you, but I'm going to sit here in meditation for at least 10 minutes. Please work on my subtle energy. Please remove any energies that do not serve my highest and greatest good or the highest and greatest good of all. It could be as simple as that. If you want to do something a little bit more fancy. Maybe you get an in-person Reiki session done. Maybe you do a distance Reiki, virtual Reiki appointment done. Maybe you go and get an energy healing. Maybe you, whatever. It doesn't matter. But some of you need recalibration. Maybe you book a one-on-one alignment session with me. I have a very, very few sessions. I think there's only 2 or 3 sessions left for September, and then I'm going to take a break for a little while. Pay attention to what your pain and your hurt is informing you that you need. This was a long explanation, but I hope that it all makes sense for you. We still have 1 card to pull. I hope that it all makes sense, because all of this guidance is so that you end up here, being spiritually abundant and also financially, humanly abundant, because of all the work that you are committed to doing. At the bottom line, if you take anything from this reading, is just be committed. Just be fucking committed to yourself, please. Just be committed. There's a lot going on in the world. There's always going to be a lot going on in the world. Be committed. Be a committed part of your life. Stop asking people to do things for you when you aren't really even willing to commit to doing things for yourself. Be committed, okay? Let's look at our last card. Last message for September 2024. This one's coming from the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras deck. Beautiful, beautiful deck. One of my newest, and coming through as our last message for September 2024. Okay. We had 1 card kind of like stick out, and I'm like, I feel like I should pull this. And then we had 1 card that I chose, and that's our actual message. So our actual message is the archetype of the bear, and the message is protection. Go inward and connect to the space of shelter and inner wisdom. You are protected. So this is bringing us back to that Mars and Cancer energy, having us reassess our safety, our mothering. So I want you to picture this as you now, and this as little you. And knowing that, yes, a lot of you are going to listen to this reading or watch this reading, and you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so much work. I'm tired of these cosmic movements. Baby, let me tell you something right now. It's never going to stop. You're obviously watching this because your seed has already blossomed. Your seed of consciousness is already up and waking up. Maybe it's already fully blossomed, and this is just like how you keep your journey sustainable, by always tuning in and tuning into experts and healers and things like that. People that can, again, be a channel for these messages like I am, for this guidance, for these movements. It's never going to stop, which is a beautiful thing. And you should be regarding this journey with love, which was the other card that came through. And I don't want you to take this as romantic love. Some of you will see this and be like, yep, that's me. And I love that for you. But most of all, this is, again, our feminine and our masculine energy coming together to remind us that all of this is happening because of us, to return us to our love. That is our pure and most primal nature. Both of these cards, love and protection. Every decision that we make and the way that we behave in the world is because of this. To make sure that we are feeling protected and that we are feeling loved. And sometimes it happens on the other side of the spectrum, where we behave and we act out of fear and out of lack, but it's still because of this. It's because we're trying to subconsciously get to this side of the spectrum. And so know that this is you. You have the opportunity for this to be you. This is you. This is a reminder that September, All this work that we're being told to do. How many cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. 8 cards for an 8-year. That's also important. As we shift out of this 8-month, we're in a 9-month. 9, number of completion. 8 cards. Okay? Know that this is you. I hope all these messages make sense for you, that they've informed you on the energy of the month, that they've informed you on how to put your best foot forward, your most intentional foot forward. That's what I really mean when I say best. I'm trying to stay away from saying things like higher self, because it almost gives the connotation that we are in a lower state. We can be. Our higher self resides within. It's our decision to commit to unlocking and leading with them. We know this already from the meditation that I offered you on who is driving your proverbial car, right? Who is driving your life? Either it is your ego or your spirit. Your spirit is your higher self. And so working through all these things, working with this guidance in this way, is a way to prove to yourself that you are your higher self. Is a way to prove to yourself how deeply you love yourself. How deeply you love yourself, because you're willing to commit to taking care of the details, because this is where you really want to be. You're willing to look at the wounds, to pay attention to the information in your wounds, so that they can suture themselves up, so that you can lead in the world in a really grounded and protected and beautiful, loving way, right? Lead in unison with your masculine and feminine energies. Lead and pay attention to your younger self, what they need. Pay attention to these energies within you, within your chakras, your sacral, your solar plexus. Pay attention to what your body is asking of you so that you can get here. And I don't want you to think of this as only just material wealth and abundance, but this is like wealth of spirit, which is most important. Abundance in all kinds, and calling forward abundance of all kinds. What a freaking beautiful reading. Beautiful guidance that's coming through. Thank you for tuning in. I want you to drop in the comments, how did this resonate for you? What area are you in your life right now? And how does this resonate for you? I know it's a big ask to ask y'all to be as vulnerable, but sometimes I look at other people's readings who have like bigger communities and more views, and people get really vulnerable in the comments, and it's just so beautiful. And so I welcome that. Especially those of you who have been in my community for a long time, I ask you and I welcome you to show these newcomers, new community the way. Just get vulnerable in the comments. I'll share my own stuff too about where I am, how this pertains to me, but let me know how this landed for you, where you are in your life right now. How does this resonate with you? How are you committing in September? That's the main question that I want you to answer in the comments. As the sirens start to happen, I don't know if y'all can hear that on the screen, but there's sirens just like asking us to listen. How are you committing in September? How are you committing to the details of your life? Because as eclipse and autumn equinox and Libra season comes through, and we're asked to rebalance, and we're asked to just like chill and pay attention to what we have as a result of paying attention to the details, we're going to be asked to commit in a different way. And so what are you committing to in September? What kind of details are you committing to? And what kind of abundance are you calling in? I always urge people, don't be specific about your abundance. Just be specific about how you want to feel. How do you want to feel once October hits? How do you want to feel in eclipse season? It's gonna be tumultuous. Inevitably, it's always tumultuous. It's always wild. Eclipses come through to like rip through our life and tear away anything that doesn't need to be there. And so it gets to be a lot easier when we do the work first, which is why all these messages are coming through. This is so many cards. All these messages are coming through so that we can take care of our shit before our shit hits the fan. Okay? Sorry for the analogy, but that's the way that it's coming through. Looking forward to communicating with you all in the comments. Looking forward to meeting you here again. I'm going to have videos of all types coming up in September. Kundalini yoga meditations to support us through this process. Meditations that we can do lying down with headphones, with binaural beats and frequencies to support our energetic body. I love recording those for you. I urge you to, again, like this video if you gain something from it, share it with somebody that you love, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Love you.